Hello, everybody. Good morning. We are back once again. New Wednesday. Good morning. Good night for other people. Well, today have a couple of things to do, and I want to repeat the what is it the to show you how resistant is this to the water once it's dry. Okay, this is some exercise that I did with one of my students. Maybe it was maybe last year or something like that. So I'm gonna show again, how resistant this is to the water. So let me get the. Let's see. So I have here water, I have here a sponge, and I want to see, let me see something. No, okay. So I'm going to show you if I put it here. Okay, so I'm going to take water, okay. So I make a mess. So as you see, it is completely resistant. Like once this paint is completely dry, it's completely resistant to water, to elements. That's why it can be used for painting outside on the walls. Okay, so again, this is, you see, nothing comes up from there, and I really okay. So again, you can see how good this paint is. A lot of acrylics, if you do this, the paint, mostly in the thin parts painted, the paint we will go off, we will erase. Okay, and also that's why, those Roman and Greek paintings lasted for centuries because this paint is perfect for surviving on time. Okay, so today we are gonna do what is called, I'm not gonna paint over here. This is a grisaille that I did. So grisaille used to be used by, a lot of paintings from Renaissance to mid 1800s, some late 1800s. And what it does is just like chiaroscuro, but difference with the chiaroscuro is that this has white on it. So you work it almost like if it were a white, black and white painting, but from here you will apply color. Okay. So let's see, move my stuff, take this away from here, the sponge, because we don't need it anymore. Gonna get rid of this, and okay, Ling Ling, if you are listening to me, I would like you to try to talk to me, because I send you a link directly, and I think and now today finally we can talk directly. Okay. So let's see, put this here, and I think I'm organized. Okay. So I'm gonna start with Let me see. It's nice. So I'm gonna use this red. I'm gonna use, of course, titanium white, and let me see, supposed to have a yellow ochre over there. Okay, and over here I have a yellow ochre. So, and just in case, well, let me try that first, see how it works. And I need my palette knife. Let's see, palette knife. And also I'm gonna use a little bit of medium because I wanna do the first velatura kind of transparent. Okay, so I'm gonna pick some of this, put it over here. Meanwhile, I'll put it here. Let's see. A little bit of some red. Okay, this doesn't want to close. Okay, thank you. I close it. Oops, moving everything. And now a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay. Something like this for now. Okay. Okay, so now let's mix it. These little. And with a little bit of the medium, just to make it a little bit transparent. Okay. Okay, so I'm ready. Let me see what brush. This one should be fine. Okay. Let's see. So here we go. So I'm gonna make a transparent layer. Let's see. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. I am always using my fingers for painting. So as I was saying, this was used by a lot of painters. I prefer chiaroscuro than grisaille because it has white. Sometimes for me it gives a too cool, makes the colors too cool, and sometimes they don't look that real. But anyway, it's also a beautiful technique. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, very cool. So actually, I painted these. I did this grisaille like maybe last year because I'm always testing different encaustic formulas. Well, basically the formula is the same, just maybe some proportions change. So we are always looking for the best paint and the best response. And the only way I can make those tests is if I use the paint in one of my paintings. If I just try like in a piece of paper or something like that, I don't really know how it's working. The only time where I really know the difference between one paint and another is when I use it for one of my paintings, because then is when I can really see to detail how that formula is working. And that's something that a lot of people that work on analyzing, they work in archaeology or conservation, the scientist part, they don't realize that that's very important, because sometimes they find, they do a chemical analysis on a painting and they find a bunch of things, chemical stuff, um, that sometimes don't make any sense, that something was painted like that. So the only way to verify that that was painted, that way, and that the paint was made by those elements, is to try to reproduce the paint and to see if it works. And that's where the mistake comes, because they just try, maybe they take whatever paint they made and they give a couple of brush strokes. I say, oh, okay, that's paint. But that way you don't really know how it works, because it may work for this, but painting a real painting, um, is the only way you will find out if it really works, because it's when you really find the problems. Because actually making a paint is very difficult. I mean, a paint that works and has quality. Anyway, so while the face dries, I'm gonna do, let me see, maybe I can use the hair dryer, or yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use the hair dryer. Wait, and go faster. So here we go. Okay. Okay, so now let's keep going. Let's start painting the lights. Let me see. I'm gonna use this time, because I want the paint to completely cover. I'm not gonna do it, or maybe just let me think. Maybe just a little transparent. So I'm gonna use the same colors for now. I'm mix them here, and I'm gonna use also titanium white. See, just see that I'm getting paint everywhere already. Okay, so a little bit there. And here we go. It's too dark. Let's put more white. A second. Okay, this is much better. I'm gonna put a little bit of medium mix with it. So medium is something that, that you will use a lot, because you can really adjust the transparency of the paint without altering the texture or the volume. Because if you make transparencies just with, I mean, make the paint transparent, just putting water, making it more liquid, the paint just gets liquid. So you can't really do any impastos. While this is with medium, you can do impastos and at the same time be transparent. Okay, let me see. Let's try. Yeah, it is. I don't know if I like this brush. Anyway. But I'm not sure if I like this color. I think I'm just gonna put it a little more yellow ochre. I'm seeing my palette knife. A little more yellow ochre. I think now it's too much. Okay. Yeah, mixing colors is a very precise science, because you can adjust them so much to perfection. I'll put a more medium. Okay, so now it's too yellow. I'll put a more white. Okay, a little more white. And I'm gonna use more medium. Okay, and we put it here. Let's see. Maybe more. Let me see. Here. Okay, let's try this color. If it works. Yeah, for the background layer, I think this is fine. Brush has too much water. Okay. So it's giving me the transparency that I want. Very nicely. Also, I'm using canvas with a lot of texture, which I don't like that much. I prefer things, I mean, canvases with less texture. Usually, what I do when they have too much texture is I apply a layer of gesso, the very thick one. I apply it with a big palette knife and I make it completely smooth. But that's something, that's there are people that like a lot of texture on their canvas. So that really depends on your taste or how you like to do things. So there is no rule that one canvas is better than another because has more texture or less texture. That depends on what results you want to achieve at the end of the painting. Mhm. It's wash. I don't want wash it. Okay, let me use this brush. I don't like much because it's not hard enough. Okay, let me try this one. This really works better. Let's see. All right, maybe here. Let's move this so you can see when I'm using the water. Let me see a little lower so it comes into the camera. Ah, okay, okay. Um, so in the darker part, I make it the other color show through the color underneath, um, because that gives much more depth to the painting. And I think I explained this already, but also one of the things that why I'm not stretching the canvas is because then when I have an exhibition abroad, like in Europe or even here in the United States, and I have to take all my paintings, it's much easier just to roll them, and I just stretch them at the gallery. Okay, making progress. So I'm bringing up the lights a little bit, just painting thicker with more paste. Okay, this is very cool. Yeah, I like this brush much better because the hair is much harder, so it's easier to control the when you paint thick. Well, even when you paint, and mostly in this kind of rough texture, it's easier to control the way you paint. So with um, the underpainting is doing, because it shows through, because all the layers are transparent, is gives a lot of depth and beautiful in between tones that otherwise you wouldn't have. And it's because the light that is coming from behind, from the grisaille. Okay. Let me see if I can do a zoom in how this works, because I never tried before. Use this camera. Um, camera. Here. Controls. Um, um, I don't know. There is a way to do it, but I don't want to experiment now. Because if I experiment now, it's and then everything stops working, it's not gonna be good. So of course, painting a portrait is always a slow process. You have to be careful with the how you measure. And that's why when you look at very famous portraits from very famous artists that have like a very free brushstroke, when you look at the faces, you will see that there is less brushstroke work, um, and everything is like more tight, less alive. And the only reason for that is because you are so focusing on getting the correct lightness of the person that you are painting that you lose that freedom. And okay, you have to work a little more slow and careful and more into detail, even though it's not really detail. Let me go here and make this. Hmm. Okay, okay, looking fine. So now you see my paint once gets a little dry. It's just a little dry, but to keep it creamy, what I do is just put a drop of water, and then I go again with with the palette knife, so it absorbs the water again, and it recovers um, its wetness. So, for example, in acrylic, you cannot do this because once it starts drying, there is no way back. But here, since the paint remains open a few days, you can still, come back and forth. Also, what I use, which I find very useful, is using one of those wet palettes that you can find in all the art stores that I use for acrylic. So you have your piece of like the paper like this, but that paper and underneath there is a sponge with water, and it goes through the paper where you have the paint, just very little by little. So it makes it keeps your paint humid at the right amount of water, because also you don't want it to get too liquid because yeah, because again, yeah, you cannot paint thick. So this portrait is going to take us a little longer because portraits require time. So, but again, I always tell you this: anything that you want me to, or you want to know how it works, any technique, you can ask me. We can do a lot of things. I can teach you a lot of things about painting. I'm very, expert in painting techniques, not just the materials, but the techniques used by the artists. Okay, your value is fine. And so also I was checking why, it's so pixel when, look at this through the camera. And the problem is like it depends on the internet speed. So even though I'm supposed to have a high internet speed, since it comes up and down because it's not really you don't have what they sell you. So usually that's why it's more pixel because it's not transferring all the information. So I thought it was a problem about the camera, but no, it's a problem of speed internet. So what I eventually have to do is to have another camera recording the webinar, like a high definition camera, at the same time, and then use it, and then record the event, and then what I record with that camera, put it on YouTube high definition. So I think that's gonna be the only way because here we are missing, or you're missing a lot of details of the technique just because that. And I want you to be able to get everything. Oops, connect to the lips too much. I really like the texture of encaustic because it's such a rich material. It looks so beautiful. Like compared to acrylic, this is like I don't know how good I explain it, but this is a natural, beautiful product, while acrylic is just plastic. So when it dries, you lose, the paint becomes very flat because just when it dries, becomes just plastic. But this paint keeps all the transparencies, all the in between colors. Okay. So I'm gonna hide that line that I don't like much. Use a little bit of this. That's better. I don't like to see those lines. Okay, let's keep going. Um, so now, very, very slightly on the other side. Much. Now you see all those transparencies, how, you know, imposing one transparent layer in top of the other, you can see all the colors through, and it gets so beautiful. Okay. Like like the to define lines. I like more the sfumato technique, like Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, so little by little we're getting there. Let's see. Okay. Mhm. Too much. We put a little bit of this. Let's see. Need a little bit of burnt sienna. Just a tiny bit. I have to control all the, let's say, one of the complicated things about portraits, like all these very smooth in between lights, uh, which are kind of difficult. Mm, maybe a little pink here. Okay, super. So then I can go over it with the lighter color. Mhm. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Here we going. Mhm. So, what else do I need? Okay, I'm gonna work a little bit on the lips. So I'm gonna make a pink, not too pink. Because if I make it too pink, then it looks like he has lipstick. and we don't want him to have lipstick. Okay, so titanium white. And again, I'm gonna use for these for the lip colors. I want it very transparent. Just because that we don't want it to be too um, because it is not too transparent. It's gonna look um, very much like lipsticks. So yes, need to be careful with that. And let's see. So I'm using more of the medium. Oops, I'm putting thin on top of my painting. It's not good. Okay, mix this well. Mm, Also, a bit of red here. So I'm gonna use a little bit of medium, make it transparent. Okay, so let's see how it works. This side. I always like to dry my brush with my hand because that way I feel the amount of water in the brush. It gives me more control because I like to have the brush humid but not wet. Okay. Get a smaller brush. Let's see which one. Maybe this one. Okay. Okay. Getting there. Hmm. Can we move this over here? Okay. So let's bring some highlights. Again, all of these have to be very precise. It's incredible how, when for portraits, you think you move something just a millimeter, which is nothing. The whole expression of the face changes. And sometimes you're going crazy because, your portrait doesn't look like a person, and suddenly you just move a thing just a millimeter, and the whole thing changes suddenly. So sometimes it's very annoying, I must say. But I like to paint portraits. Okay, so make a little higher light. That's a little bit too light. I think. Mhm. And, and also when I finish painting a portrait, because there's so much work requires so much concentration, and at the end, when you don't even know if your painting is looking like the person, what I do is I turn it around against the wall, and I don't look at it for 15 days at least. And then when I turn it around, I can see much better, if he looks like the person, if there is missing something important, and that kind of stuff. Okay, looking good. We have 5 minutes left. So what I'll do is I'll finish this painting next day. Okay. Gonna take a picture right now, so then I don't forget, because otherwise, once I stop doing this, because I have to run to teach in persons. Then when I come back, I forget everything. Let me see if I find my camera and take a nice picture and post it online. And again, please, any questions you have, ask me. See, so, mhm. A ver, see. Oh, I'm running out of battery. Okay, so I hope this picture works. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for attending this webinar, and I'll see you next Wednesday again, same time. Okay, and please send questions and comments. Thank you very much. See you next week.